Hello, happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of the Lake Norman Woman podcast. I am Mamie Lee, editor-in-chief of Lake Norman Woman magazine, here with my gorgeous co-host, Katie Stankiewicz.
Hello.
From Willow Equine and Soul to Soul Connection. How's it going, Katie?
Doing fabulous.
Yes, loving the summer.
Loving the summer. This cooler weather has been really nice.
It's been weird, though.
It has been very weird. I'll take all the rain because the pastures are loving it.
You're good with all the rain.
Well, yes.
Yes?
Yes, I do like the rain. We need the rain. Mm-hmm. But I'm loving this cooler weather.
Yeah, so we have our guest Susan here from Sweetwater Farms in Huntersville. We'll get more in with her in a minute, but you have a farm as well too that you love the rain?
Oh, absolutely. Because I just put in a huge 3,000 square foot, huge for me, garden this year. So I'm loving the rain.
You're loving the rain.
Absolutely.
All right. And the horses are loving it too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I feel like my yard's just a muddy mess though. It's not.
It's a muddy mess. Absolutely.
Okay.
But the grass loves it. And I think they do because they'll get their mud going and then they'll roll and they're like kids. They just love it.
They love it.
They do.
Yeah. Well, what's happening at the farm right now?
Oh, so much. We've been really busy, which is awesome. We have the 2 new therapists starting. We have the groups going. It's really same old, nose to the ground, but everything is going amazing. And so we're loving having more flexible hours, the daylight that's going later. There's just so much going on.
Just
and
gives
so many
more availability
opportunities
for people to come out and enjoy all that you have surrounding you. Yes.
Yes. And we're able to kind of bump back our groups later as well. So like our meditation or our women's group, we can bump those to like a 5:30, even 6 o'clock start time because we stay late. So we say light, so late.
Right.
Say that a couple times.
Yeah, I know, 5 times
And
fast.
so it's nice for parents or women to be able to say, oh, I can get off of work, I can take a deep breath, then I can go out to the farm. So it just gives me a little more flexibility with scheduling.
Do you guys ever work with kids out on the farm? I don't know if I've ever asked this. No, it's what, 18 and up or what's
It's
kind of the age range?
Teenagers.
Older teenagers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we started Willow in 2012, I worked primarily with kids. And honestly, I don't have a therapist right now that sees kids. I'd be open to it with the right therapist. But it was something where we kind of, how businesses ebb and flow.
Right.
And my therapists are like, hey, we're not going to see kids anymore. And I'm like, that's fine. And really, kind of as a mom too, being able to see the dynamics of these kids, knowing that it takes a village. And so coming to 1 hour of therapy a week, there needs to be more reinforcement. There needs to be parenting classes. There needs to be a whole group approach. And we don't always see that.
Right.
And so I kind of made the rule of if we're going to see kids, we want the parents involved in classes and counseling as well. And some parents weren't able or going to make that commitment. And so we've really just been in this place of working with older teenagers and adults. And I love working with adults.
Yeah.
We can just get so deep into the metaphors and the workings of that trauma and the pain. And then we're healing this generation that can hopefully then raise healthier, more communicative kids. And we're almost starting at the top down versus at the bottom up. But we make referrals for the kids because it's powerful work. It's just right now where we're at, it's adults.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I love the women's groups that you're doing too. How are those going?
They're so much fun. And it's so amazing because you'll have people that don't know each other. They don't know what they're getting into. And then by the end of the 90 minutes or 2 hours, it's like they've been best friends for years.
Yeah,
and so incorporating the drumming and the chanting and just being outside and the meditation, it's just phenomenal. Just giving another out for this crazy world.
It's a different way to process everything that's going on too, right? Even with, summer's here and we think relaxing, but for a lot of us, especially moms, summer can feel more hectic sometimes, arranging schedules and summer camps. We'll get in with Susan and the summer camps you have coming up, but that kind of scheduling, because I remember when my daughter Katie was in like elementary school, early middle school, before I felt comfortable her staying home by herself more, it was just like, this camp to this camp to this camp to this camp. And if I could find a 2-week camp, I was gold. I was like, I don't have to come up with a different plan for 2 weeks. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's been one thing this summer is usually I feel like I have my summers in pretty good balance. And this year it's just been a little off. And it's like, okay, how do you balance work, being home with Natalie, being present and having fun, but also keeping work and everything else going. And this year's it's been good, but it's been different. And so I try to take one day off a week or at least an afternoon off so we can go to Carowinds or go to the pool or go do something so we still have a summer together. And then also letting her know too, like, I have to go to work.
Yeah.
I'll say the one things that probably have been cut out are my workouts in the morning. Because I'm like, if she's home, I'm like, okay, well, we can do breakfast or we can just chit chat versus getting up and leaving the house and going to work out. So
yeah.
We'll start those back up in August.
It'll happen again. It's fine. It's fine. And I was just thinking too about, summer schedules, and that's great. One day off a week is great too. That's just great to have that built into your schedule too. That way when you're looking at, and I know you have like a paper calendar.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
School.
I love that you do. I wish I could be that organized, Katie. I can't. It's got to be in my computer. I have to have like 10 reminders on my phone or I'll forget about it. But I love that you do that and just have that worked into your schedule to make sure that you're having that time to rest. I was with a group of moms last weekend and they were talking about all the things their kids have and all that. And I was like, we didn't do that. Like me growing up, that wasn't what our summers were like. Ours were just, you go to the pool, you go to grandma's house, right? And that's pretty much what you did in the summertime. You watched a bunch of TV, which is probably not the best thing for us, but like, that's what we did. We had our books that we were assigned that we had to read.
Reading.
We had our summer reading we had to do. So you had to make sure you did that. But then we didn't have a bunch of camps, maybe Vacation Bible School once or twice in the summer.
I never went to camp. I mean, maybe,
but I never went to camp.
But I never went to camp.
And they were just talking about the schedules and this and this. And I had to drive my daughter, an hour to go to this camp and then an hour and a half. And I was like, oh, that's not what summer's about, guys. Let's just relax. Let's just enjoy like summers. And especially for our kids, their summers, like you get 18 of them before you're in college. Yeah. And then, you have like my daughter's working this summer, so she's not even having that full summer experience anymore.
Well, they seem so short too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many weeks they really are, but Natalie got out before Memorial Day. So she's already 3 weeks into her summer break. And then she'll go to back to school at the beginning of August. I'm like, what do we do?
Right. And then trying to fit in a family vacation in there too. I know. Yeah. So just making.
I enjoy the summer break, but I'm always looking forward to her going back because I'm like, okay, now we're in our normal schedule, schedule or routine. And that's where I'm like, summer's great. And I just need our 8 to 3 scheduling.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Well, you have an exciting event coming up for Independence Day, the 4th of July, and all the weeks leading up to that. Can you share what that is?
Absolutely. So it is the Field of Flags Summer Celebration that is held at the Lurz YMCA from July 2nd to July 5th. It is a phenomenal event. I mean, I can't even put words to it, but we place 500 American-made American flags on the Lurz lawn in a perfect grid, and each flag represents a veteran, an active duty service member, and a law enforcement or first responder. And it's our way of showing the patriotism, showing our appreciation, and honoring our local heroes and the heroes from all over. And so we'll be setting up the field at 8 a.m. on July 2nd. And it will remain open and guarded until July 5th.
Wow. Great. That's amazing. And then a big celebration that happens.
The big party, yes.
The big party on July 3rd.
July 3rd,
July 3rd this year.
We'll start at 6 o'clock. We have Blue Monday is our band. So they will put on a phenomenal concert. And then we'll have food trucks. There's a beer garden. There's going to be obviously the field. We'll have military vehicles. We've got a helicopter coming. There's so much to do. I mean, it brings 30 to 50,000 people to our area every year. And it's a big party.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then at 9 o'clock, the fireworks will go off and it's going to be phenomenal.
That's so fun.
And then I sleep.
I was going to say, I hope you do take a couple days off, more than one day off that week too, once that's all done. Because I know that's a heavy lift for you guys, but we appreciate your partnership. And WSSC is so excited to help sponsor the event this year. So you can hear more about that on Good Morning LKN, Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. We're talking about it there. Word of the Day sponsor. We got you guys everywhere too.
We're going to be in the magazine too.
They're going to be in the magazine.
Leslie had my friendly reminders. Hey, Katie. Hey, Katie. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
But the article.
There'll be an article in the magazine in our next issue, and then we'll also have an article on our website as well. And so just everything we can do to kind of get the word out about the great work you guys are doing. So really appreciate the Exchange Club and all the work that you do here in our town.
And I think it's fun because as much of a celebration as it is, it's also a memorial and a place to honor. But then it really is bringing in the community and having that unity, because that's one of my favorite things. Is I like walking the field like at dusk-ish and just seeing the names and seeing families play together, but then also like when the actual party's going on, looking and seeing everyone has their tent. I mean, people set up at 8 o'clock in the
ready
morning.
to go.
Like, it's like a parade. They have their tents and they have their blankets, and you have babies all the way up to these grandpas and grandmas. And it's just beautiful to see, hey, you can come together. Doesn't have to do with electronics.
Right.
Get some fresh air and just celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. And the flags, when do you start setting those up?
So flags are for sale now. You can get those on our website. They're $35 for the entire kit. So that's the pole, the rebar, and the flag. And then we will be setting up July 2nd at 8 a.m. And then we'll be selling, I will be on site July 2nd and July 3rd selling, so you can come visit me in the trailer.
Nice.
Buy your flag. You can also come visit me in the trailer, and we can tell you the exact location of where your flag is.
Oh, that's
one
special.
thing we've created this grid, so literally people can come and you can say, hey, where's my grandpa's flag? And we can pull it up, and you can say, go to A7, and there he is. So
I love that.
It is. We're looking forward to it and excited to see everybody.
Oh, that's going to be a great event. And we're so happy to be in partnership with you guys for that one as well. So we'll be right back after some messages from our sponsors, and we'll get to know Susan a little bit better. So we'll see you in just a minute on the Lake Norman Woman Podcast.
Dreaming of starting your own podcast but don't have the space or gear? The WSIC Podcast Studio has everything you need to bring your content to life. With multiple sets that can be tailored to fit your needs, state-of-the-art lighting, and camera equipment, you'll be ready to create high-quality content. Need a photography studio? We've got you covered with our professional cyclorama wall. Bring your own camera and let our expert producers handle it. Email social@WSICnews.com to schedule your tour today. The WSIC Podcast Studio, where your ideas come to life. Looking for deeper self-discovery and emotional growth? Soul to Soul Connection offers supportive space where horses help you understand your inner world in ways traditional talk therapy can't. Our certified professionals guide you through meaningful experiences that foster reflection, healing, and renewed perspective. Best of all, these services are offered at low or no cost for veterans, first responders, and their families. Learn more at healingwithhorseslkn.org and start your journey toward greater well-being today.
Imagine a home where every inch is designed just for you. At The Closet Niche, they create custom solutions based on your specific needs. From closets to build-ins, garages to wall beds, their locally created solutions deliver functionality and elegance. With a lifetime warranty, best price guarantee, and award-winning service, you'll see why they've won Best of the Lake 2 years running. Get your space reimagined. Visit theclosetniche.com today.
Welcome back to the Lake Norman Woman Podcast. All right, our guest today is a storyteller, visionary, and advocate for childhood wonder, Susan Lurz, entrepreneur, author, and the heart behind Sweetwater Farms in Huntersville. After publishing her children's book, The Sweetwater Animal Society, Susan brought the magic to life by creating a real-life space inspired by its pages. At Sweetwater Farms, children and their caregivers can explore, play, and reconnect with nature through hands-on learning and adventure. Her mission is simple but powerful: to spark creativity and curiosity while helping families slow down and enjoy the world around them. We're thrilled to welcome Susan to the podcast and get to know you a little bit better. Thank you, Susan, for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's great.
Yeah. So farming, right? I mean, here in the Lake Norman area, I know that this was a farming community in the past.
Absolutely.
Did you grow up in the, are you a generational farmer, or how did you get involved with it?
I am not, but I am a big old Capricorn and I love the earth.
Okay.
So I'm a businesswoman. It's a funny thing. I had my first Baskin-Robbins ice cream store when I was 20 years old.
Wow.
It was my family's business. Then my family also had a restaurant. So I started a food manufacturing company. Who doesn't do that? I just have an interest in so many things, which I love about myself, that I want to go and try things. And so from the food manufacturing company, I semi-retired. I was only 45 when I did that. But that's when I started writing storybooks for kids. And I moved away to the mountains. I had a farm on a mile up on top of a mountain, and that's where I had all of my horses. That's how we know each other. and all my other animals. And I just found this imaginary world of Sweetwater Farms in my mind. And every day I'd spend hours writing my first children's middle reader book, Sweetwater Animal Society. And so from that book, I self-published. I have a great business partner who was with me in my food company, and we started the publishing company. And so was selling that book everywhere. And I finally moved to my farm I found in Huntersville because I had horses and other animals. And as we were publishing and selling that book, I was like, God, this farm is idyllic. I certainly could make it become the real Sweetwater Farms and invite folks to come out. So that's what I did. I just took a leap of faith and built some cute buildings and some, a wonderful little chicken coop. And
it's like a fairy tale.
It is like a fairy tale.
I just love that you invented this world in your mind, right? And then you're like, and now let's make it real. That's amazing.
It's fascinating because it is that. I don't know why I did it. I was blessed to have sold a company, so I could now enjoy life. And I was like, I want to do this, and let's just see what happens if folks want to come. And so what I did was I just opened it and opened it for free one Saturday a month. And I started getting interest. And then Mommy's groups, thank goodness for Mommy's group, started hearing about what I was doing and asked me to open more. And from that, I started doing field trips. And it's a fascinating thing. I went to the town of Huntersville and said, so this is what I'd like to do. And I'd like to do field trips. And they said, well, what kind of field trips? What are you going to do? And what's fascinating is the middle reader book that I wrote had these strong themes of empowerment. The main character, this little boy in it, discovered he had these special abilities, which made him who he was. So he learned how to love himself and his special abilities. And so there were strong themes of empowerment that my business partner, who's incredible, we picked out those themes and created curriculum for social and emotional health. So we started using that in schools. And so I did field trips in social and emotional. And the town of Huntersville said, oh, we never heard of that before, but it sounds great. Let's give it a try. So anyway, started doing those field trips, and then word got around. And so here we are today. My farm is just over 13 acres. So it's, in the scheme of a farm, it's not huge.
Right.
But I have done so many different things on that 13 acres that people enjoy. I did a strawberry field, so they could do you pick strawberries. We do pumpkins. We have now a bit of I don't want to use the word festival because they're not that large, but for Easter, we had a spring fest, and so it was a great day on the farm. So.
Well, you have your new barn, that new covered area, social area.
We do birthday parties and summer camps and so many new and different things for me, but I'm having a great time.
That's so fun. Yeah. I think it's just, and when you take the passion, and then you bring it to action, right. And that's where the excitement, you can just see the excitement whenever you talk about it too, because it took the one thing, like this idea in your head of the book and the story. Okay, now let's bring it to life and let's add these other things onto it. But I'm not going to say that it's easy, because I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy, but it's exciting, and it keeps continue to feed your spirit too, because you're doing these things that are so special to you. All right, Susan taught me a new word, ag entertainment. I've heard of agritourism.
Right.
But ag entertainment, that's a new. So explain to everybody what that is.
So it is, farmers for years, and, this county is no different, Mecklenburg County, have struggled, especially throughout history. But today it's really hard to run a farm and grow crops and then try and sell them, because the only outlet is farmers markets, unless you put a roadside stand out. But then there's just not a lot of money. And it costs a lot to farm, to keep up the land, and you've got to learn about, pesticides and what insects are, it's difficult. It's really hard. So we're learning as farmers that we can invite the public to our farm and have activities for them. Activities for the kids, different ways of doing food for them, having lunch, creating a space to have a birthday party, things like that, to where, I've learned through these years, everybody loves a farm. It's being in nature, and it's the smells, and it's being out in the sunshine.
Being able to get dirty.
Well, it's not as accessible to, and for me too, growing up in Cleveland County, mostly farmland out there, right? And so I felt like everybody's grandpa had a farm.
Right.
At school, it wasn't unusual for me to go to someone's house and they would have chickens and horses and cows and goats.
Right.
Now, though, and especially in this area, your neighbor doesn't have chickens and goats and things like that. Like,
you don't have space to move around.
No, you don't have the space.
Exactly right.
A lot of us live in an HOA, or we live on the lake, and it's just not accessible to us. So it's something that for this next generation, right, of these kids that are in elementary school and middle school, they don't have the accessibility to it.
Exactly right. We do so many field trips now for CMS schools, and I get so many kids that have never been, out of the city. And so they see a cow for the first time. And when we have a class come, we do animal tours. So we teach them all about the different animals, but then what foods do we get from animals? And what can we make with the eggs from chickens or the milk from the cows? And their little brains are going about all the different things. And so educational tours are great, and we love doing them. But agritourism is, we're combining, agriculture and bringing the communities in to enjoy it.
That's so cool. Yeah. And then, your journey to get there too. What is it that you think has kept you going from ice cream shop owner to food distributor to author to publisher to, all the layers of things, and I doubt that you're done either.
I am not
So
done.
a lot of people would think my goal is to build this business and sell it, and then I can just sit back and eat bonbons for the rest of my life. But what was it that was continue to drive you, in case any women out there are listening and they want to say, hey, what do I do now? Like, maybe I have sold a business, or maybe I've been a stay-at-home mom for a few years and I want to do something different. Like, what was it to drive you to do these things?
I think it has so much more to do with my personal journey. It's up to hear about your workshops and the work that you're doing, and the women coming together, and really it gives them time to quietly think about themselves and who they are and what they want out of their one life. And for me, and that's what it is. What can I do? And really feel good about myself. Gosh, when I see those moms and dads, I love the weekends because we get the dads too. And I'm supporting that whole family. And boy, do I feel good about what I'm doing. But I also have this thing inside of my brain that just keeps going, Sue, you got one life. What are you going to do with it? And I'm like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. And if I can see it's not going to work, well, we're going to put it to the side, and we're going to turn direction and go this way. And I adopted a little girl. She's been with me for a year. She's 10 now. But she sees that in me. And I tell her every day, because I'll say, Addie, what do I tell you about you? And she said, that I can do anything. And I'm like, exactly right. You see me do that every single day. So that's what I love about this. This is my life. It's about me first, and then I can bring that out to everybody else. And listen, people ask me all the time, and I'm like, I'm having a ball. I'm having a ball. But I'm really lucky. I do my best to support not just my customer, but my community, the town of Huntersville, where I live, in Mecklenburg County, and then the state. Whether it's working with the Department of Agriculture, and then in the state, and then Mecklenburg County to support farms and farmland preservation, because they are working really hard to support and sustain farmland in our county, because we are losing it.
We are losing
crazy.
a lot. Yes, I know you were on the Huntersville show that we have, Thrive Here Live, talking about, the loss of farmland that we've had over the last few years. And yes, we have lost a lot. And because generationally, you know, the next generation doesn't want to farm. I mean, it's not easy work. It's hard work. I mean, you guys both know just from what you have, Susan, with your farm, and Katie with the farm and the horses. And, you know, I was even thinking when you were talking about like animals, and animals get sick and they have to eat and they have to go to the vet, like even just if they're feeling great, you know, you have to have all those things into it. So it's hard work. It's not cheap work. It's not easy work too. Yeah.
That's right.
So
but it's a passion work.
It is.
And I think that's, if you talk to anybody, regardless, and even the old time farmers, it's ingrained in us. That's part of who we are. That's part of the Capricorn and loving the land. You know, ends up being ingrained in who we are the ones that are still fighting for it and keeping it going.
Right. Yeah.
Knowing that we love every minute of it, irregardless of the blood, sweat, and tears.
Right.
Well, and I think too, everybody has that place where their soul feels at rest. And it can be, for Katie, it can be you when you're on the farm with your horses. Susan, it can be in the mountains or, you know, wherever you are. So whenever you find that place and that space too, that feeds you even more. For me, it's sitting and watching the boats on the lake. I don't even need to be on a boat. I can just sit and watch them. And I feel so at rest. It was such a big part of me moving here and making the move to here. I was like, I need to have a space with a chair where I can sit after work and watch the boats.
And knowing that too. And I think what's beautiful about being able to say, like, this is my space. This is my life. Because it's not coming from a place of selfishness or entitlement. It's coming of like, yes, this is my life. What am I going to do with it? And then once you figure that out or continue to figure it out, then it's like, oh, then I can help my neighbor. Then I can help my community. Because when we know what's going on inside of us and where we're supposed to be, then that's when we build upon that to everybody else.
What's the saying? You can't pour from an empty cup. Is that the saying? Yeah,
absolutely.
And so when your cup is full, though, the other side, it overflows into everything around you.
Absolutely.
So the people around you, the places around you. Yeah, I love. Susan, so inspired by you. All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break, and we will come back and ask Susan our 3 further questions. We'll be back in just a second on the Lake Norman Woman podcast.
Ready to create your podcast, video, or photo shoot? The WSIC Studio is your one-stop shop for all your content needs. We offer multiple sets that can be tailored to fit your vision along with state-of-the-art lighting and camera equipment. Plus, our Cyclorama Photography Studio provides the perfect backdrop for stunning visuals. Bring your own camera or use ours, with expert producers to guide you. Email social@WSIC News today to book a tour. The WSIC Podcast Studios, your content, our expertise.
Are you ready for a fresh approach to healing and personal development? At Willow Equine, our certified professionals offer equine-assisted therapy that harness the powerful connection between horses and humans. We provide counseling, mindfulness, and leadership development tailored to your unique journey. Discover new insights and transform your life through the sensitivity and wisdom of horses. Visit healingwithhorseslkn.org to learn more. And begin your path to well-being today.
Winning Best of the Lake 2 years in a row, The Closet Niche is not only locally owned and operated, but their products are manufactured right here in Lake Norman as well. With a lifetime warranty and best price guaranteed, they deliver stunning, high-quality designs tailored to your specific needs. From closets to pantries, laundry rooms to garages, and more. Their work speaks for itself. Visit theclosetniche.com to get started on your 5-star experience today. Visit theclosetniche.com today.
Welcome back to the Lake Norman Woman podcast. Susan, thank you so much. Gosh, how inspiring your spirit is just effervescent. Thank you, Katie. Katie has introduced me to so many amazing women through this show as well. So I really appreciate getting to sit down with you and getting to know you better. You talked a lot about field trips right during school, but we're in the midst of summer. And so what for summer do you have going on? Camps? You said birthday parties?
Absolutely. Well, our camps, we do 10 weeks worth of camps. So every week we have something going on, and they all have a different theme, all related to farming. This year, my little campers, the theme is How My Garden Grows. So they replanted all of our raised bed gardens. Then they had a lesson on composting, and I got worms. So they all had their own little worm, and they named it, and then they put it right by the plant they planted. Today they were doing ladybugs and, the best insects to have in your garden. So we do things like that, a lot of hands-on things for the kids that they really have, some of them never done before. So it's awesome. So we still have some spots left in the camps coming up through the summer. But then birthday parties, I built this wonderful new barn. I love it.
I love it.
It's a great venue for parties, and it's air conditioned. So that's the best
bonus.
thing
Okay,
ever
Moms,
for
bonus.
summer
Yes.
parties.
Summer birthday party outside.
yeah,
Yes,
oh,
but enjoy
yeah.
the indoor air conditioning.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. And then we're open 5 days a week anyway, just for general admission. Folks can buy tickets on our website, or wait till they get to the farm if they're not sure if they're going to make a trip out that day. But yeah, it's great all summer long. We are planning now for, believe it or not, October events and getting ready to order pumpkins. Wow. And but I tried this year. Sometimes on the farm I'll do little like incubator things and try things out. So this year I started a farmer's market. And we bring in local produce, and then we grow some of our own, which is fantastic. But I was able to bring in a new customer base, and I love it because I didn't know that's what it would do. I put a big banner at the front of my drive, but I'm getting a lot of neighbors in that don't have kids and just want to come and get their fresh produce. And I'm like, well, this is fantastic. So now it makes my brain go, oh, we need a regular big farmer's market on the farm. So we'll see what happens there.
I just love too how you think like what's next, right?
Well,
like
I just listen to my customer.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge part of it too. Like if a woman is thinking about, any of the ladies listening and thinking about starting their own business, that's such a big, for both of you, I'm sure too. Like what you were saying, Katie, like just listen to the customers, listen to the people.
What are we needing in the community?
Right. Exactly.
And I think that's the thing is you and I are both boots on the ground.
Right.
And we're there listening and we're talking and we're seeing. And sometimes, like you said, it may or may not work off. It may or may not take off right away. And yet, okay, we're still going to hold it. We're still going to have it. And we'll tweak it as we need to.
Right.
Because things do ebb and flow.
Right.
And I think a farmer's market is all. I love a farmer's market.
I love a farmer's market. I love a Saturday. When do you hold these?
Wednesday through Saturday mornings.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I love this early morning. You get up, you go get a coffee, you head over to the farmer's market, look around, buy something. I usually end up buying the naughty things, though. I end up buying the cakes and the breads and all the things.
Well, we're getting ready to bring some of that into, I have annually about 28,000 people that come through the farm.
Wow.
Which you wouldn't know because, it's fairly large, but I'm like, what do you want? What do you need for us to do and become? So I'm old school. I run a business old school, and I think that really matters to my customers. So, yeah.
Well, I think what's cool, too, is a way to say, because we always talk about how Lake Norman is like this melting pot. There are very few of us that actually are from here. And so it's like, hey, what did you have at home that you're missing? Like I think about fall in New England is apples, pumpkins, apple cider, that crisp fall. I would love to have elements of that down here. Asking those 30,000 people, hey, what are you missing? What are we wanting that we don't have? That's a fun way to literally bring all the different elements of people and places together.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We're going to ask our 3 favorite questions to our guests that we ask every week. So number 1 is a very easy one. What's your favorite thing about Lake Norman?
Because there's so many, because I live right on the outskirts of the lake itself. But every time I drive, wherever I go, I see it. And then I call my friends up and I say, can we go have lunch somewhere on the lake this Friday? Because I need that. As much as I am on a farm, I have to get away and lay my eyes on something different. So I love where I live because I'm around that lake.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I was driving around a couple weeks ago, and it felt like every new turn I made, I saw the water there, and I was like, it's just such a lovely thing to see. Yes, we do have the traffic, guys. I know we have the traffic. But when you're crossing over, even when you're sitting on 77, and I can just look to the left, look to the right, and see the water, it just brings so much peace.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed,
I love it.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Okay, next question is, what is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
That's an interesting question because my grandmother had such an influence on me. I had 2 great grandmothers, but this one raised in a Methodist church, and so raised my mom and all of us in Methodist church. But she always told me, honey, walk by faith and not by sight. And that has stuck with me because everything I do is by faith. I just do it. And then I'm like, I think this is working because everything I do from my heart. My farm, there's no fear on my farm. No fear whatsoever. I learned a long time ago, if you live your life in love, the universe will respond, because that's the energy of the universe. And so she taught me that when I was young. It stuck with me. Best advice ever.
I think the walk by faith too sometimes gets misconstrued or misunderstood, right? It doesn't mean that we just do whatever and be like, oh, I have faith, everything's going to work out.
Right.
Because the hard work comes with it too.
Yep.
But it's that faith to say, all right, I'm going to try something because it's in my heart.
I believe in me.
I believe, I believe in myself.
Yeah.
I believe that I am capable of doing this. And then just trusting, like you said, if it doesn't work out, we use it as a learning experience too. It's not a failure. It's just, we're just learning along the way how not to do it.
Totally.
And I think as women too, I think sometimes, and I'm not going to say for all men, but sometimes men can feel like they can fail a little bit more and make those turns, where women feel that need for perfection or to do it right the first time. So just giving ourselves that grace that we talk about all the time on the show.
But I remember when I left racing, or was talking about leaving racing, and my husband was like, what are you going to do? How do you know this is going to work? And I paused at that question, and I was like, I just know. Like,
Absolutely.
I have this faith, but I just know in my soul, in my heart, that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And he had a hard time comprehending that or understanding that. And for me, it was like, there were no, like, I didn't know how the hell it was going to, I'm going to be honest, I did not know how it was going to work.
Right.
But I knew in my heart that we were in the right place and that we were doing it was all going to come together.
I think too, for me, especially, God, or you can say the universe or whatever you believe in, gives you this peace too, right? And that's for me so much, is whenever I've made some of these big decisions or these big choices, I've had the fear, or you said you don't live in fear, but like the nervousness, the anxiety is still there. Yeah. But for me, it's like, but I also have this like overwhelming peace that this is the right step for me. And doesn't mean everything's easy. It doesn't mean everything always works out, but you do have this peace, like, okay. And then you get those little reminders throughout the day, right? Whether it's, for me, I'll see like a yellow butterfly and that'll be like, okay, you're on the right track. Or, I'll get a word from somebody, or I'll get a reminder from somebody that you're doing the right thing. And so it just reminds you to just keep moving down that path, even when it gets hard.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, love it. Okay. Last one is, what's one of your core values?
Well, this one has been with me probably my entire life. And I don't know where I got it, except I learned it on my own. I run my business and everything I do old school, even raising my child, very old school. I'm a single parent, and I'm older, and so I need to make sure that I stick with old values, but that you always do the right thing. And that's what I'm teaching her as well. No matter how hard it is, you do that. And when you're in business and you have customers, that builds a trust. And sometimes I just break my back trying to do the right thing. But in my businesses in my lifetime, I have had huge clients like Harris Teeter grocery stores. I manufactured food for them for 15 years, and meeting with their chefs and meeting with their president. They knew, come hell or high water, Susie was going to get it done. And so that has been my core value that has kept me on the right track this whole time.
I think not only it gives the trust to your clients or whoever you're working with, your customers, but it also helps you sleep better at night too.
Oh yeah.
There's no tossing and turning and, is somebody going to find out that I didn't do this or I didn't do that? It just helps you rest easier too.
I did everything I could.
Yes.
Absolutely.
For their success and my success.
Right.
It goes back to, like you said, this is my life. What am I going to do with it? Well,
and am I going to be proud of it?
We are going to succeed, and it's going to be phenomenal.
Right. Right. Yeah. Oh, I love that too. Yeah, it really does. It just it helps. I think it helps take stress off of you too.
Oh, absolutely.
Just knowing that you're doing the right thing every day when you're by yourself. I know I did the best. That's what we talked about when we had the ladies from the show here. Like, as long as you know that you did your best for our clients, that's all we can ask. Yeah. And so that's what we try to do every single day, is the best for who we work with and who we work for. Right. That's in our families, that's in our relationships, and that's in our work that we do too.
So. I think it's so funny that you say you're old school. teaching some or instilling on Addie and everybody else to do the right thing.
Right.
That shouldn't be old school.
It should just be
common
normal.
sense.
Normal.
That should be normal. Yes. We're not trying to like.
We're going to start normalizing.
Yes,
it.
let's normalizing
absolutely
doing the
should.
right thing. We really should. All right. Well, thank you so much, Susan, for being with us here
Absolutely.
today.
Listen, thank you.
If somebody wants to come out to the farm or find you or farmer's market or any of those things, what's the best way for them to find out information?
For our website, sweetwaterfarmsnc.com. On Facebook, same thing. And then we're on Instagram as well.
Okay.
And just come check us out. Have a good time. Bring a picnic.
It's awesome. It's so much fun.
It sounds amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to
It's
come
like
out
a
and check
fairy
it
tale.
out.
It is like you pull onto the farm and it's a fairy tale. It's so cute.
Yep.
You don't feel like you're in Huntersville. You know, it takes you to a new
you
place.
don't.
And I call it my oasis.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, we'll come visit Susan at her oasis that she dreamed in her head and brought to reality. Thank you so much, Susan, for being here today.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you again,
Thank you.
Katie.
Thank you.
For a great episode. Always fun sitting here with you and getting to meet more of your friends.
You know, I got some pretty cool friends.
You have some fantastic friends. I really, really appreciate it. All right, guys, we'll be back next week with Annie from the Closet Niche for the very special Independence Day episode, talking more about what she's done and, you know, all of our sponsors that we have. We're so thankful for them. So we will see you guys next week on the Late Norman Woman podcast.
Have a great week.